that. That still have to be part 2.
Inventory.
So what I wanted to show you guys about this one, I tried to think about who uses, you know, some pieces of gear that don't really get used a whole lot, right? This was one that caught my eye. It's pretty good rolls. Huge magazine, fires really slow. Pair it with the gunner. Every time you kill something, you fire a little bit faster. And then this one. This is actually a pretty good assault rifle. I think it's a SIG MPX. And all I did was basically try to fit it into my like standard DPS build. You know, 3 Providence, Contractors, Fox's Spurs. But I used another what is Petrov to go with these. You know, weapon damage, weapon handling, and then braced. And the idea was, like in dark hours, I mean this might work in some spots, but if you can suppress just 3 enemies, it procs its thing. Excuse me, it's gonna keep. Sorry about that. It's gonna keep its weapon damage like pretty high. So you can fire a little bit faster and kill himself. Look at that, man. Like a whole clip. Kill all those dudes. And it was pretty easy to handle. Only problem is just there's no way to proc this. You know, 12 times 4, if I'm not mistaken, is 48. So if you can get this, you know, get this procced, that's like almost 50% extra damage to this. And you can see it hits pretty decent, right? Now for the backup weapon. So we're still in cover and we're shooting, right? Killed it without. Look at that. That thing's a freaking laser beam. Right in the head. And then after you kill something, look at it.
Inventory.
So, this little guy is pretty decent. SMG. Kinda goes underlooked. Not a lot of people like LMGs because they do suppress, but I haven't had a chance to really try it out, but I think this could do really well in Iron Horse. You know, maybe some parts of Dark Hours. Probably at least on maybe Razorback. Maybe Weasel. A lot of ads are out in the open. If anything, you can suppress the snipers, keep them from, you know, hitting people. It's just some different thoughts, but this talent braced, it's pretty amazing. There is a named Petrov piece you can craft. Can't pronounce it, but it's got like 50 perfectly braced. I think it's 50% weapon handling. It's a really good talent. You just have to stay in cover. And as you can see, like here's a difference, you know, without it. Right? Watch how much this is. You know, it moves a little bit, right? Now we get it in there. And pair it up with the gunner sting. Right. This shit doesn't move as much. You can see it still hits pretty hard. You know.
Inventory.
But you can do a lot of things with this talent, different pieces, you know. Let's see what else we got here. Okay, cool. That one's just who doesn't like, you know, DPS repeats it. build is a lot of fun. Ideally, it is tough to farm for because it always drops with blue core attributes, so you're looking for that other attribute to be a red. So I have a mix match of, crit hit chance, crit hit damage, crit hit damage. I would have liked all of them to have been crit hit damage, right? And then I'm using Overwatch. This is sort of like a kind of a support build. Just a scanner pulse. Show people where they're at. You could switch it to a Banshee pulse if you wanted to. But this thing is pretty cool. It gives you your ammo capacity, magazine size, and it's the red, white, and blue thing that is awesome. Right? Red makes them take amplified damage. White can help you repair your armor, and the blue decreases their damage. And then when you kill something, it explodes, it does damage to them. So it's a pretty cool set. I really want to get my hands on a skill build version of this, but that's going to be really hard to do. Looking for skill damage on every attribute and then roll skill tier on all of it. But I figured this would work really well with the Pestilence, and then I just used this because it's got a huge magazine with this. So, we get into cover, wait for Overwatch the proc. Right, and then look, I got 66 bullets in this. Now, the reason I'm using an AKM is it matches. You see the little flag buff, right? You see how it kind of has like a slow count to it. You don't want a weapon that fires too fast. You'll get through your whole clip and only be through like 2 of the buffs. So you just have to shoot one red, or blue, red, and then another one white. If I could hit it, there you go. And that's how you get the 3 up there. So having a slow firing weapon works really well with True Patriot. And AKM is just one of my favorites, right? But now, switch it to Pestilence. It's already got the buff out there. Alright, we're gonna reset this. I'll show you. We'll go to a invulnerable target so you can see how much it takes to hit for. Just gotta wait for Overwatch to proc. But yeah, things are a little different down here in the thing with the haste buff. I feel like you just, pulse shit. It takes 853 a tick. Once you get that stacked on there. That's like, you're not even doing anything, it just does damage, so. Pestilence with True Patriot
Inventory.
and Overwatch can be some pretty cool stuff, man. Just sit back, let it clear out a room, pretty much. It's a fun build to run with. You can, if you wanted to, you could use a Bullet King, but so you're not going to do a whole lot of damage with this. It'll do a lot more damage than Bullet King. And this just jumps from everything it kills. And then if it's killing something, you already got the flag on it to blowing stuff up too. And like I said, you could run Scanner Pulse, Banshee Pulse. You can even put Achilles Pulse. It's not going to do much unless it gets overcharged though. But that's a fun build to run, and that could work anywhere really.
Inventory.
There you go, let's show you a little bit more of this over here. So let's start kind of in the middle. You can see how it jumps around target to target. mess around with.
Inventory.
Let's see what else we got. Okay. Now, this is just it's kind of a gimmick way to jam on Razorback. It's with the vial. So, I'm using the name pieces, the battery pack, and Caesar's guard. Perfectly skilled and perfectly calculated. Now the trick with this, and this does work, but it's the vial mass that does it. Right? You're applying that status debuff as this to disrupt to the drones. The ticks will kill it, but you have to be attached to like the generator, so it's kind of tricky to move around when you're doing it. So you could be off the generator, you could shoot your crossbow, right? Then you're gonna get back to the generator, start charging your pulse, and then when it kills them, hopefully you get these to proc. But there has been a few times where it doesn't, and it can be kind of shitty. But it's just a different thing to do, if you get bored, want a kind of a challenge, I wouldn't say this is for a beginner. It's definitely just something different, but you lose your BTSUs, but anything you hit with it is going to put that debuff on it, the dogs, any ads running around, anything like that. And you can still heal pretty decently, using Insync, Scorpio, concussion grenades, card. It's just something different, And I just kind of reworked. My damage build. So it's still all reds. It's still got basically the same pieces. Just I switched some stuff around here and I changed the talents. Like I'm gonna be providing opportunistic on everything using Scorpio, Overwatch. And it's pretty much the same thing. Foxes, contractors, crit chance, crit damage. Let's see here. Hey, you can see the stats aren't too bad off. I can show you some of the numbers it does. It's just down here anyway. I'll change this. Alright, so change this. Right. So you gotta get in cover, let the Overwatch proc. Takes a while. Alright, then start right into it. Okay, switch. At 3.4. With those buffs. I can shoot it. That one didn't even register. Yeah, there's something you could do. It'll help your team out. You're providing buffs too. Oops, just went by that. I wish that had like a drop down menu so it could go quicker. Alright. Overwatch proc. Damn it. Now the numbers are going to be a little off, but you can kind of get the idea what I'm doing here. Stick in cover, tag things with your Scorpio, switch to a baker's dozen, 3.5, 3.4, you can see it hits, it's just a different way to do a bit more damage than usual. Plus you're adding utility to your group.
Inventory.
I like this build. It's pretty solid. Alright, Striker. Now, there's a lot to talk about with this stuff, right? The basis of Striker's 4-piece, here we go, right? Weapon handling, rate of fire, and then it does amplified damage. It stacks up to 50 times. Now, you can do a couple things, right? You could use the backpack that changes each stack from 0.5 to 0.65, give you a little more damage. There's the chest piece, which changes the stacks from 50 to 100. You could use both of them. You could swap them out. You could run glass cannon. You could use intimidate. Yeah, there's a lot of different ways to basically change this up. But this version, this is something that it's sort of for stationary fights. So, like, for example, the first boss in Iron Horse, if you choose to use weapon damage to kill him, this will absolutely melt his shit in a matter of seconds. If you get a couple people running this shit, it all focuses on headshot damage with a striker build. And the thing that they changed was really nothing other than the fact if you miss a shot, it used to decrease your stacks. So you had to really pay attention how you're shooting, or you'd never build your stacks up. But this one doesn't penalize you for missing stacks. It just slowly loses them every second. So as long as you keep hitting something, your stacks keep building. If you miss, you still got a little bit of leeway to get the stacks back up there. So what I did was I'm going to pair it with pristine example, right? I know it's marksman rifle damage, but it's the buff, right? 60% extra damage. And then I'm using the Slipner. I don't have the best rolls on this, but the magazine does kind of help frenzy a little bit. But the way you have to mod it is you have to use this, at least use the 8 times. Or you could use that, but it slows down the reload speed a little, just for 5 more percent. Right, 50 round mag, stability, because you just want to make sure you can hit those headshots. And I'll show you what this bad boy can do. I'm going to run out invulnerable because it'll melt the freaking... I'm going too quick. Alright, so as you can see, right, you're aiming. It's building up to little binoculars. That's the focus buff. Alright, once it's up, go nuts. Alright, so that got the striker's buff up pretty much now. So it was, you can see a lot of millions up there. That's the basis of striker right there, man. Do not want to use striker with anything other than automatic things. LMGs, SMGs, just normal assault rifles. The higher the RPMs, the better it is for this thing. But that's one of the reasons I think that using a light machine gun with a big mag give you enough chance to like one clip to get it. The weapon handling helps out. Gunner has weapon handling built into it just by being in cover. And using contracted damaged armor. I mean, you could change things up. Put a striker glove there, Fox's prayers, and then put headshot on it. There's just so many different ways you can mix and match your pieces with it. And you can move these 4 pieces around, and but this does pretty solid damage and really quick, and it's a fun build. It's just I don't know, it's not quite how it used to be, I guess, but I think they just made it user friendly.
Inventory.
So feel free to mess around with some striker stuff, see what you come up with. You could even run, if you're in a raid group and you get intimidate, and you're getting that extra armor somehow from someone like a tank or something, that could probably work even better. And then this is something I just kind of put together, and I tried it out in dark hours. Actually did pretty good. The darkness, right? Like, who uses the darkness anymore? Well, I found a use for it. Right, so marksman, right? And what it does is it's perfectly eyeless, okay? Now, what I should use here is blinder. That's the easiest way to do it. And it's I got a perfect headhunter. I got the gunslinger holster, and I'm rocking the regulars. Like if you hit anything with the regulars and kill it, and it puts bleed, that's gonna proc wicked. Throw your blinder, procs wicked. Anything you shoot that's blind, more damage. Keep killing ads, you just apply damage. Now, the other thing I was thinking too, instead of like just Headhunter, is there's a talent on a chest piece called Trauma. If you shoot something in the chest, it bleeds. And if you shoot something in the head, it blinds it. That would probably be the ideal for this version. But what I chose to do was just 3 pieces of Aurelies, Fox's Prayers, Gunslinger, and that. And you can see, these are not really what you're worried about, it's this. And I'll show you how it kind of performs a little bit. It's not, it's just another kind of outside of the box thing, but it can do pretty well. You just have to get used to it, So, you can blind it, or you can use your flashbangs. Alright, got a lot of weapon handle. And you can see on a named one, it still hits pretty freaking hard. Alright, that's the proc. Look at that, alright. Let's do a blinder. Oh, it's a glitch, come on. There we go. You can see it hits, it doesn't hit too hard, but it hits fast. And if you needed to, you can always switch to your Baker's dozen. I got a lot of good weapon handling on here. So you can see that hits pretty hard. And that shot just hit over 20 mil, which just for some reason didn't register. So I just put a couple different things together. It's kind of a fun build to run, like got the sharpshooter scope on there. Just put headshot because you can look from the weapon hand. This thing is maxed out accuracy and stability. And why not faster reload and just be able to hit things from farther away. Because I put, weapon damage, headshot, weapon handling. That's what I wanted on everything. This has got, and it's a pretty solid build. Everything's very stable. This thing's just maxed out. And I think it works pretty well, You got your flashbangs. This, like I said, the only thing I would change is to find a chest piece, maybe. I would think Providence would be a good one because it's more headshot damage. With Trauma. I just didn't have one to show. I was trying to craft one, couldn't find one. And let's see, I think that's it. I want to jump to my second character real quick here and show you some other stuff. So bear with me.
John, press R1 button to go to settings.
No, that was my second character. This one is my main character that I've spent a lot of time on. So what I've done on this one is just sort of tweaked some different builds, updated them. I got some pieces out of the DZ, whether it was buying them from the vendor or getting lucky with those named item caches. Some of the stuff I found was the death grips and pinprick. Just some pieces like to collect, So once the loading screen stops here, I'll be able to show you some stuff. Alright. Okay.
Inventory.
So we see a lot of the same kind of stuff. Like this See, I've covered some of these in some of my other videos. Let's see what I can show you that's sort of newish. Only thing I did with this one, I changed out my normal 511 gloves to death grips. Tried to find some better Seska pieces with more blue on them. I think I actually have, I know I have one. Yeah. Sniper build. Negotiator's dilemma. Alright. So I've been trying to work on fixing my negotiator build. I have a couple different ways of running it, but this one I think might work a little bit better. Cavity's mask. I'm just using this for the crit hit damage and more damage with using a turret. Everything's weapon damage, crit damage, weapon damage, crit damage. Definitely need the backpack. This is more for just boomer. And you know, critical hit damage. This could be kind of tricky to pull off with the perfect killer because my crit hit chance is not that high. But that's one way of looking at it. The other one that I got, just want to show this one again. This is one of my, this is works on Iron Horse a lot, or it could be Dark Hours too. Anywhere where ads are coming out of a door. This is what they refer to as like a door jammer build. The idea is to be kind of tanky, as you can see, 1.3 mil. A lot more reds. Obliterate. The memento is the key piece. Those trophies are what matter. Being able to kill shit's important. Armor regen. You know, crit chance. Gotta use submachine guns to get your stats up. I mean, it's max crit chance. And you know, the crit damage is pretty decent. The weapon, I believe I've actually found I'm not sure where it went. Anyway, there's the pin perk I got. Perfect first blood. I think it's in here, I just haven't had a chance to fix it. I actually found the weapon I wanted. Where'd you go? Right there. The enhanced PP-19 with InSync. Now, if we compare these two, base damage is a little bit higher, fires a little bit slower. It's got a bigger magazine though. The stats on it aren't entirely maxed out, and it loses a little bit of mods, but I think it would work alright. And it's a firewall build, you know, because you're going to be right up in their face. You know, if your armor breaks, sets them on fire. Now, there's a lot of good things in this build. And it can still hit pretty hard, so it's not too bad.
Inventory.
And let's see what else. This is my original negotiator build. Alright, so everything's critical hit damage. Rate the Diamondback guarantees critical hits when you hit something that's marked. It's a little tricky to use, but man, you can put up some big numbers with it. And then as you're killing shit, it just hits harder and harder and harder. So yeah. I ran this only a couple times on boomers, getting used to it. But it's if you're playing with people that know what they're doing, you can really kill shit fast with it. And I don't know what else I got here. True Patriot Hazard build. Normal tank. Oh, here we go. This is a little bit better hazard build that I was working on. I'd like to find a Cisco like this, but like this in Vanguard. Kind of tricky to find that down, and this would be perfect. Hollow Man, 511. All these other pieces maxed out. Big shield. Liberty. Yeah, you set this thing up, you'll never die with this kind of build unless something terrible happened or you just got so out of place. Or you are the last person alive and you just get overrun. But this is 100% hazard. Well, just because it's not maxed out, I don't think it's 100%, but there we go, 98. That's pretty damn close, and I think that would be fine. But a lot more survivability. And then this one, I was actually going to try this. Second boss, Iron Horse control room. Now there's a couple of ways to set that fight up, but the way that I was able to see one time was actually put a tank in the control room. And he would have a build like this with the foundry. You can provide Vanguard while you're up there. I put just repair skills on here. Fixer drone, shield just to proc Vanguard, some help summit, more hazard, more repair skills. I haven't had a chance to actually try it, but I know that it can work because I've seen somebody do it before. And it seems like it would actually be kind of easy because you don't really have a healer for that fight. Usually the healer's stuck in the control room, but they're not doing much. If they're trying to use future, they're constantly taking damage. It would make sense. And then the person that does the power boxes, they kind of morph into a pocket healer when they go down if they know what they're doing. So this kind of frees that up, like you could actually have a healer, someone that could overcharge and stuff. Oh, this dude's doing Vanguard. That's just the person that has to run in to do the water. Could be like could use some sort of different build, more survivability with Unbreakable or something. Just some thoughts, and like I said, those are some new things I've been working on, just from running with different people. Hopefully this gives you guys some ideas. This is specific to the first boss in Iron Horse. Purple Hive with the BTSUs for the overcharge, force multiplier, overwatch, capacitor, and oxidizer. Oxidizer is a tricky skill to use, but can do a ton of damage. But this is, giving a lot of buffs, the overcharge, pretty easy build. I just did it with the Tactician for more skill damage. And the Hive, I need the Purple Hive to help boost all the skills. And, that's pretty much some of the builds I wanted to show you guys. And just gonna talk a little bit more about these real quick, and that'll be it. So sharpshooter is made from rifle or marksman rifles. You get this buff only with those two kinds of weapons. Stability, recoil, armor kit's okay. Helps with status stuff. Flashbangs. Attack 50 ammo. The drone, it's got mods to help it go better, and that gives you the Tactician one. But yeah, when you're playing a marksman, you always want to be the last person, like behind your group, so this buff is procced for headshot damage. And then this is a interesting way to proc intimidate sometimes. If you are just in cover, you get a little bit of extra armor, and you can proc intimidate yourself instead of using adrenaline rush. Regenerates ammo, fast pistol, and then this is the best headshot scope in the game. 45% takes off 5% critical hit damage. So let's run down with those. Survival, this could be a lot of things, but it's geared towards like healing. It gives you some protection. Your med kit can heal, but it's got stuff to do with status effects as well. You get a firebomb thing, grenade, crossbow, and the secret ball. I don't know, I just think it's not that great. The chem launchers are definitely the way to go. This thing takes too long. Has to follow certain patterns and collision things. It's kind of like with the drone. The drone's kind of slow too. But you get skill haste. You can just regenerate ammo by doing cover to covers. It's kind of got some weird stuff, but Survivalist was mostly geared towards like healing and some status effect stuff. And it's not to say you can't do pretty good damage with it. You know, you could mix things like Wicked with this, and you know, I could maybe even make some of those other builds I showed you better. Demolitionist, I kind of think is probably the best well-rounded overall, you know, specialization to go. You know, medkit's okay with just give you like weapon handling. You know, it does try to gear things around explosive damage. You get burn resistance, which could help you make some different kind of hazard protection builds, stuff for the control room. You get some pretty good turret mods and an artillery turret. Get people just flat 5% damage to targets out cover. This is awesome. Like if you get hit with an explosion, it literally does nothing. If your armor ever breaks and your weapon's out, it'll refill it instantly. This is a 7% crit hit chance underbarrel attachment, but you have to spec into SMGs for it. Doesn't mean you use them, but you could. I set this up for rifles, shotguns with the Scorpio. Yeah. Pretty good stuff. Tactician's a weird sort of support in my opinion, but like I showed you before with the spotter, you know, that's how you get the spotter. You spec rifles. But it's got some interesting things. You know, you can use this. Any skill you put down, a hive, turret, something like that, something that's stationary. Anybody that's inside its radius there, they can't be shocked or immune to it. Right? This is kind of like maybe if you pop out of cover and you're trying to throw a skill so you don't get killed. And then it gives you the options to go for more skill damage or to kind of go for healing. But in my opinion, this 10% skill healing, it's not that great compared to what the survivalist can do, which is more like repair skills. So I mean, that artificer hive does a lot of weird things too. It can heal them, and it also buffs them too. So this is like, kind of feel like if you're gonna, you know, take care of people's skills, keep them alive, boost them. That's kind of what this can really do. You can do extra damage. You know, armor kit will heal like your skills and shit too. Do more damage. This is like tacticians could do really well in dark hours. A lot of drones, a lot of robots, the dogs and shit. And it just gives you a skill tier, and you can have a free one. You can go more tanky, go more weapon damage, more EMPs to kind of mess with robots. But their missile launcher thing. Probably one of the worst specializations. I like the the game. Like it just takes a while for it to charge up, and then they're homing missiles, but they can be blocked with line of sight problems, and they don't seem to really hit all that hard. You know, and then there's just some different things for, you know, pulsing targets, using spotter if you want or whatever, just marking things. So. That Gunner's like if you want to lay down some hate and just keep doing it, it's a really fun class to use. You know, it's definitely for these three weapon types: SMGs, LMGs, assault rifles. You get 50 extra rounds for some of the LMGs, not all of them, but you help your teammates regenerate ammo. You know, every time you kill something, your rate of fire goes up a little. Weapon handling, as long as you're standing in place, gives you the Banshee Pulse and some really good mods for the duration and effect or something like that. Really good med kit, you know, helps you reload faster, gives you armor on kill, foam grenades. You know, this thing though is based on just like killing multiple targets like without letting go. That's how you get more ammo that way. So that's why these rapid fire ones, specifically probably these, unless you can find a really good hard-hitting SMG. But yeah, that's it. A nutshell, and then firewall. Firewall is geared towards things that are close to you, really close. So that's why they give you a lot of, the shields. Striker shield's pretty cool. It buffs you, anybody behind you. More mods for shields. Burn duration can go from when your armor breaks, gives burned. Right, and just being close to enemies gives your teammates 10 more % damage there. This isn't going to come in too much handy, you know. Med kit's amazing. 200%, it's like a double standard med kit. The health on kills really lackluster. It's not going to do a whole lot for you. Like some people would pair like Hunter's Fury with this kind of build. You're going to be close. It's health on kills built into it. Cluster grenades, kind of, I don't know, it's lackluster too. It doesn't, there's no way to really tell where they're going to go. So you could throw it, just kind of pops them out of cover and shit. But hey, you get a flamethrower, you can set shit on fire. And then this under barrel, it's like 10% crit hit damage or something. And you get a weird fire starter shotgun that, like when you shoot it, it like primes them, it lowers their fire resistance. So I'm guessing that helps them take more fire damage. So you could do like, fire sticky status effect builds. It's got a lot of built-in fire things, but at the same time it's shields, being close. That's why they give you shotguns and stuff. But, there's a lot of different ways to do this. But that's all the different specializations kind of broken down in my opinion. Well, anyway, I hope you guys have had a good holiday. New Year's here, so hopefully it'll be a lot better this time around. You guys take care.